Hey there folks, this is GreenyXI, welcoming you right back to Let's Play Umineko. This is episode 142. In the last episode, what didn't happen? It was switching between scenarios so much. So, the Golden Land was starting to be taken over. I think that was the indication of what was going to happen, which is a sort of symbolization of the truth beating all the fantasy and all that shit. So all the fantasy will go down the shitter, and Ange will be left to carry on with her life instead of seeing all that shit going on, saving the ghosts of her family and all that, I think. And now, it looks like we're going back to the side of Ange, because it's talking about Eva, and that's her mother, or adoptive mother, all that. Let's get going. Eva had broken the magic circle around the key beforehand after all. By the time Battler and Ange reached it, it was falling apart like the sand in an hourglass. They tried punching and kicking it to make it break faster, but nothing they did hastened the process. Looks like she broke it a while ago, but it'll probably take some time before it's gone. Just a bit longer, I think. If we could just buy time for 5 minutes. Judging by the speed and the magic circles were crumbling and the general appearance of the whole scene, it looked like it would be over soon. However, right now, it could even 5 minutes be considered soon. They turned around. Beyond the bookshelf ravine was a universe, even for Battler, who had seen Beato's fights many times over. The battle between Lambda Delta and Burncastle was so mind-defying that he couldn't think of a single word to describe. Sweet and candy-ish. When he finally managed to find a word, it was a universe. Each time a battle between Lambda Delta and Burncastle unfolded, a universe was created between the pair of them. Big bangs would take place, universes would be created, galaxies beyond number would be born and erased. Then, just when it seemed that a big crunch had occurred and that the universe had met its demise, there would be another big bang, and another universe would be created. It was like watching gods playing. The two witches created and destroyed worlds over and over again, almost as though two creators were fighting to prove that the universe was the right one. If you let your guard down in the slightest, then just watching this would steal your soul. That's how it felt. Dementors everywhere. We'll be able to get the key back any second now. Then it'll be possible to go back to the Golden Land with the fragment Lambda Delta gave us, right? Go back as soon as you get the key. I can't leave Lambda Delta on her own. They're gonna jump into that fight? I can't leave her on her own. Their fight may defy common sense. However, they're perfectly and evenly matched. So, if anyone jumps in, even a single weak human like me, something might break. A perfect balance maintained by two great powers can easily break by adding even a slight strength to one side. However, actually rushing in there to add that little bit of strength would be literally suicidal. Like a moth flying into a furnace. It might burn up before it even reaches it. Once you get the key, go straight back to the Golden Land. We don't know how long they can hold out, remember? I can't go back alone, not when everyone is fighting. That's right, this is your fight. So fight. I know you regret not dying with everyone else, but you've got to overcome that feeling and live in the future. That's what you decided to do, right? Ange had no words to respond with. Her brother and everyone else would probably die, so she wanted to die in the same place and at the same time as everyone else. However, that cannot be allowed, and she mustn't wish for it. She had already made up her mind. She had sworn to live in the future without turning back to look at everyone's deaths. When you get back to the Golden Land, show the key to Beato. Beato will show you 2 doors. Then, she'll give you an easy puzzle and tell you to open one of them. That's the last game on my game board. 2 doors. Of the 2, one will lead you to the future. Don't worry. I'm sure you won't choose the wrong one now. Also, once you go through it, don't turn back until the door closes. Why can't I turn back? When the door closes, you won't be able to see our fate anymore. In other words, we'll be shut inside the cat box. A fate inside a cat box has endless truths. That's right. We might have lost pathetically, or we might have made a miraculous comeback and survived. In other words, if you, the Witch of the Future, ascend into the future without witnessing the end of our conflict, we'll still have a chance at victory. However, if you keep on looking at us, you'll see when we get annihilated. That'll put the odds of our defeat at 100%. So, to give us a miraculous victory, you must not turn back once you go through that door. Got it? Yeah. So I'll go and help Lambda Delta. If you go back to the Golden Land after seeing me walk off like a hero, that's how my story will end for you. The end of your battle will be sealed in the cat box, so you certainly won't lose. Win, lose, could be either. Exactly, so don't look back. You'll have the key soon. You gotta go back to the Golden Land like your life depends on it. So, real quick, I have one message for the you of the future. Don't forget it, and engrave it into your heart. The heart of the cards. Okay. No matter what happens, never abandon the hopes that keep you alive. All of us are always behind you. If you just believe, we can even speak to you. Believe it. If one thing's certain, it's that miracles happen when you believe. At that moment, Lambda Delta and Burncastle were wrapped in a massive explosion. Surely, one of them had delivered a powerful blow. There were no further explosions, so that strike must have decided the match. When the smoke clears, who will be left standing? The magic circle sealing the key still needed several minutes to dissolve. Are you still here? My beloved Lambda Delta? All that came into sight was Burncastle. There was no answering voice from Lambda Delta. If this was a sign of her victory, it did not cause Burncastle's expression to grow any brighter. Too bad, Lambda. And I thought we'd be able to build a universe together. It's too bad, really too bad. Burncastle was still focusing all her nerves on the battle, so she took no notes of Battler and Ange by the key. However, she would probably notice soon, and then there would be nowhere to run. The last section of the magic circle was starting to fade away. However, almost cruelly, the final circle went slower than the rest. Seeing that, any hopes that it would dissolve in a minute, or maybe a few dozen seconds, were crushed absolutely. Battler readied himself. Well, this fight probably won't work out as well as the last one, but it looks like I'm up now. Oni-chan. You're great, Ange. I'm proud that you didn't try to stop me. With tears still pouring down her face, Ange lovingly rubbed her cheek against the hand that had been patting her head. I've got to gather the kitties again. I thought Battler would be with her, but I don't see him for some reason. After all, one guy like him would be about as annoying as a pebble in my shoe. The smoke cleared completely, and they saw a huge cloud of candy bits floating around like it was Lambda Delta's corpse. A star-shaped cookie bounced off of Burncastle's head. It was missing one of its points, giving it a lonely feeling. Lambda Delta, live with me. We'll become a single universe with you inside me. Burncastle chewed the cookie and swallowed it. This way, we'll always be together. I love you, Lambda. Me too, Burn. Burncastle's stomach suddenly swelled like a balloon. Kaboom! The bulge rose from her stomach to her throat, then exploded like a firework from her mouth. I love the image on this one. From Burncastle's mouth spewed fireworks, sparked fragments of candy. You really should fix those habits you've had since you were a cat. Here's a hint, if you find a piece of candy lying on the ground somewhere, don't pick it up and eat it. Lamb. Burncastle doubled over even more, still spitting up an exploding firework. The birth of a small universe from that sweet had hit her directly from the inside of her stomach. Even Burncastle couldn't withstand that. As Burncastle repeatedly vomited fireworks, so violently that it seemed her guts would spill out, her body flickered in and out of existence, and she glared at Lambda Delta with a terrifying expression. Her body was flickering because she had taken so much damage that even maintaining her form was now difficult. How slovenly, Burn. Your body's fallen apart. Lambda! You're welcome. I sort of felt like losing for a bit, but I changed my mind. If I become a single universe with you, you wouldn't whisper to me of your love anymore. True. I'm not the type to give food to a fish I've already caught. I know. That's why you shine so beautifully. You'll lead someone on, but never actually dote on them, just like a proud queen of cats. I'll turn you into a cardboard box, make you my scratching post. and I'll make you a shamisen. Get bored after plucking one string, and put you in a cupboard and let the dust pile up on you. Shamisen's like a guitar, is it? Ooh, back to the Golden Land War thing. The goat tsunami had swallowed up everything, but sea spray was still flying about. The reefs resisted the ocean that was trying to cover them, and were smashing waves left and right. The Seven Sisters of Purgatory and the Inquisitors of Heresy, specialised in close-range combat, were rapidly building a mountain of corpses. The witches fought hard too, but they would have preferred to fight at a distance if they could. Illusions alone would be enough, or wouldn't be enough. In these battle conditions, all of the humans were thrust right into the centre of the fight. Everyone in the Ashurmaya family displayed a fighting spirit equal to the witches and guarded their backs. Even humans are not powerless. They have guns. If the goats supported fantasy, they could use these as the ultimate anti-magic weapons. If the goats supported mystery, they could use these in a much more obvious way. Those .45 long Colt bullets delivered fatal wounds to each and every goat they struck. Just die already. How long are you gonna resist? Give up and sink, Ashurmaya. Telling an Ashurmaya to sink makes him fight all the harder. Little girl, you have no idea what the Ashurmaya family is. You were dead even before 1986, weren't you? It's about time you stopped moving, Gramps. Erica's razor-sharp scythe buried itself in Kinzo's chest. It dug straight into his heart, but the daring smile on Kinzo's face didn't even falter. Oh, was my death ever witnessed by anyone outside the cat box? I'm indestructible. Indestructible! A punch containing the entirety of Kinzo's last spark of life sent Erica flying. Father, are you okay? Overcome my corpse. The Ashurmaya family never turns back. As Erica tried to deliver the finishing blow, Kraus stepped in between them, blocking the way. I will be your opponent in Father's place. Oh? If it isn't the incompetent investing expert. It's pretty impressive how you managed to find all the worst bets, losing your money so quickly. And yet, even I remember to tie my shoes. Huh? Cheap trick. Erica tried to look down at her feet, but what she saw was Kraus's left fist. That's not my shoe. Kraus's left uppercut made Erica float in the air. Not by magic, but by the simple laws of physics. For an instant, Erica saw the moon, and stars, and Tweety birds. Maybe I was incompetent as an investor. However, any of my college friends will attest to my talent as a boxer. I will not allow you to discredit every part of the Ashurmaya family, little girl. You damn small fry. Canon is an illusion created by a lonely Jessica. At the school festival, I introduced Canon-kun to everyone. Saku and Hina and everyone else. All my friends can testify to that. Don't make assumptions about our relationship based on your own imagination. Oh Christ, her eyes went greyish. Jessica's body blow made the goat's massive body cave in. Splendidly done, milady. To think that you could wield such power in a tight spot like this. Well, of course. After all, I'm thinking I don't really care if I die. This is the first time we've worked together, with you at my back. Too bad it isn't cutting the cake. Oh, I fancy some cake. Jessica laughed embarrassedly. She looked even more relaxed than she had on stage at the school festival. We have plenty to cut here, besides cake. You always try to sound so cool. But that's what I like about you. The massive bodies that rushed at them, tried to deny their relationship and their very existence, had two choices, be sliced or be struck. Each time one of those bodies hit the floor, it became proof that the two of them existed. Shannon is an illusion. George is an antisocial shut-in. Their love itself is an illusion and doesn't exist. George Summer, look out! The goat's log-sized fist buried itself in George's face. This was the middle of a massive, confused battle. There was no way to dodge an unexpected attack like that. An antisocial shut-in, huh? Very well. Say what you wish about me. George had indeed been hit with a fist right to the centre of his face. However, he didn't bend over backwards, not even an inch. The goat started to wonder what it was he had hit. Hadn't he punched a human made of flesh? It was as though he had slammed his fist into a steel wall, and it was his fist that was hurting. However, the goat was too scared to move his fist from George's face. After all, if he did, the expression on that face would probably be too terrifying. George pressed his hand against that fist. You probably could get testimony from my old classmates from school. Yes, I was an antisocial person. However, there's one more thing that they'll tell you, something far more important. George was only grabbing the goat's massive fist in his tiny hand. However, that fist was being crushed as though it had a visor about it. Even though the other hand was tiny, the goat couldn't even move its fist. Ashurmaya George never fought for himself, no matter how or what happened to him. He was a coward who ran away from all threats. Everyone will tell you that. However, they won't tell you that he never got into a fight. I accepted the fact that someone as pathetic as me would be bullied. However, never have I let anyone provoke or challenge anyone who treated someone as pathetic as me. Like a friend. The goat's broken teeth flew through the air. George's furious feet split the heavens. Shannon approached George for his money, and the goat's filthy finger touched Shannon's back. That finger exploded and boiled away. My love for George Sand is true and pure. George Sand must have kept all the letters I wrote him. Read those and you'll have your proof. You can write anything in a letter. The contents of a letter are no proof of true love. A blazing red light charred the goat's entire body. Shannon slowly turned around, her face full of rage and contempt. Pitiful spectator, ignorant of love. You have no right to read a mystery, much less a person's heart. Disappear. An absolute barrier rose up around Shannon, burning up the goats around her with its flames. Yeah, maybe we are dead, but that doesn't give anyone the right to criticize us. No one can deny the love Maria and Mama shared. Maria smiled, showing her teeth, and performed her job without even looking at her hands. Then she tossed the fully loaded rifle straight up into the air. Come and get some. Rosa, who stood back to back with Maria, caught it without turning round. You know, those two I think are my favourite relationship in the game. Whoa! Oh Christ, that was weird. I scrolled on the mouse and it went. I think it goes back in text and I didn't even realise I could do it until now, the very end of the game. Anyway. No, that wasn't all. Maria had passed the gun to her mother perfectly without even looking back. Rosa's head was pointed at the ground as she stroked the frigid trigger with her index finger. If any of you doubt my love for my daughter, step forward. The crowd of goats, cowed by Rosa's ferocity, didn't get any closer to her. Then I'll deny it. Being the serial cheater you were always off playing around with some man and leaving Maria all alone. Nothing like that's written anywhere in Maria's diary. Kiki. You should know better than anyone else. Rosa didn't love you. She was a crappy mother who regretted even giving birth to you. Erica was peering at the unfeeling moon, the taste of metal in her mouth. For a moment, she didn't realise what was happening. Was that cold feeling on her back the ground? Huh? Why am I lying down? And wasn't the moon full? Why isn't it now? Come to think of it, my teeth hurt. There's something cold and hard there. Then she figured it out. She was lying sprawled on the ground with a gun barrel shoved into her mouth. And the thing split in the moon was the angry king of wolves protecting its child. The gun barrel exploded inside her mouth, shattering her medulla oblongata? Don't know. But it was only her after image. What a terrifying woman you are. You really humour? Erica, who had escaped death at the last moment by leaving an after image, found a metallic flash right before her eyes, which had been there even before she reappeared. The fountain pen went right through Erica's eye, crushing it. Of course, that was another after image. However, when Erica escaped and reappeared somewhere else, a heel was already there waiting for her. From the goat's perspective, several after images of Erica seemed to be appearing at once, all of which were pierced by Rosa at the same time. Wow. If you say that again, I'll have to get serious. Mama's really strong. What the hell? And so, Erica couldn't reappear anymore. At the very least, not within Rosa's range of attack. Erica put a lot of distance between her and Rosa, reappearing in mid-air. What are these people? What the hell? Erica's animal instincts made her turn her head slightly to the side in just in time. Where her head used to be, there was an odd shower of sparks. It wasn't magic. It was a real physical phenomenon caused by lead smashing against lead. To think that two bullets shot from different angles could have flown with impossible precision at where her head once was, so that both of them hit and bounced off each other like billiard balls. Oh, so close. Sorry about that. We're big fans of the whole take out the boss first strategy, you see. Clay pigeons are our speciality. Flying along in a straight line probably isn't a good idea. The two of them spun their rifles in exactly the same way at exactly the same time, reloading them in a manner that put old westerns to shame, and pointed them back up at where Erica was in the sky. You monsters! Once again, their accurate shots plunged through the forehead of Erica's afterimage, bouncing off each other like billiard balls with a shower of sparks. This time, Erica appeared far behind them. She had to admit it. She had been forced to escape to a place outside the range of those guns fired by humans. Then the light from the moon was blocked. The place she had fled to so rapidly exploded, sending chunks of rubbish flying. A massive longsword had been plunged into the ground. It was Dlana's. Oh, if it isn't my old friend. She had dodged by a hair, but this bulky, brutal longsword was more of a cannonball shaped like a sword than something for cutting with. Even though she dodged it, the blast of air pressure made her eardrums throb. Dlana was serious. She seriously intended to smash Erica to bits. What's with the scary face? Can't you try and act a bit, I don't know, cuter? Do you find this enjoyable? Destroying people's dreams and delusions? Of course it's enjoyable. What do you expect an intellectual rapist to do? You're an evildoer, and yet I used to believe you were the sort of evil worthy of sympathy. I never asked for your sympathy. Not cutting you down immediately upon our meeting. That sin of mine is what brought this day to pass. Dlana's hair bristled with rage. The sight this expression on one of her old friends pinned Erica to the spot. My friend, allow me to free you before you can suffer. I will not let you bear any further sins. Whoa, wait! The force of anger that welled from Dlana's whole body struck Erica, or rather, the swirl of blasting wind from Dlana's massive longsword sent her flying. The cannonball with a blade repeatedly cracked the ground just after Erica leapt away, so it almost looked as though Erica was jumping backwards, smashing the earth beneath her with each jump. Dlana. Friend of mine, rest in peace. The great longsword split the air again, pulverizing the ground. However, this time, Erica was nowhere to be seen. Where did she escape to? Erica had broken the barrier of the Golden Land, landing on a ship whose bow was barely in sight. Practically speaking, she had run away. Fully aware of this, Erica howled, her face contorted with humiliation. Her shoulders heaved with her breathing, and she even forgot to fix her hair. The scythe fell from her hand and landed with a clank to the floor. That sound brought her back to her senses. Stupid goats. What are you standing around staring for? Open gun ports. Load concept negation explosive rounds. Disregard aiming procedures, just fire. The warships that had flown into the Golden Land opened their gun ports one after another, and then they all fired at once in a scattered mess of cannonballs. The hundreds of explosive rounds they fired would negate the concept of anything or person they touched, smashing them into little bits and setting them ablaze with flames. The battlefield full of writhing goats became a fiery hell. A cannonball smashed the arbour. The once beautiful garden maze was burned down bit by bit, and the fleeing gold butterflies were wrapped in flames, burning into nothingness like little scraps of paper. This was no longer a battlefield where two sides fought for victory. It was just a confused, hellish pot of boiling water. The Golden Land was being torn apart. The once beautiful rose garden was filled with explosion craters, and its rose petals were scattered about without pity. There were flying bits of flesh, blood, fangs, jaws, shrieks and half-crazed screams. And even amidst this hellish swirl, the goats and the dead continued to fight. As seen from atop the boats, this was hell without a doubt. All ships, drop anchors. When Erica yelled, the goats on the boats ran around frantically, and one by one, massive anchors hanging by chains were thrown from the ship's bows down into the earth below. Those anchors smashed through not only the ground, but the bottom of the Golden Land itself, digging in with their wedge-shaped tips. Erica. Oh, Beatrice-san, this battle's so huge, it had me worried. I thought I might not be able to find you before the whole thing ended. Beatrice landed on the front tip of the warship, facing off against Erica, who stood on the bow. You will not be forgiven. I'll finish you myself right here. Beetle jabbed with her pipe. It transformed into a beautifully intricate golden longsword. Very well, that's just what I'd hoped for. Let's settle this. Erica threw her scythe up into the air. When it returned to her hand, it had become a sword similar to Beeto's. The nearby goats crowded around Erica, trying to support her. Stay out of this. All of you need to start lifting the anchors. Tear up the Golden Land by its roots. Aye, aye, sir. The goats bowed and rushed to their posts. Several dozen ships had lowered their anchors, digging into the base of the Golden Land. Soon they were going to try and pull them up, tearing the Golden Land to pieces. Come, Erica. I'll give you the honour of my final duel. Beetle raised her sword, bowed in the ancient fashion, waited for her opponent. Erica kicked off her shoes violently and slowly walked up to the tip of the boat barefoot. Then, in accordance with Beeto's rules, she bowed back. It was a duel on the prow of a ship that pierced the sky. Below, the crowd of goats were being blasted away by the indiscriminate cannonballs, burned up and crushed in the panorama of this world's end. By now, it would be stupid to wonder whether anyone from the Ashurami family was still alright. Yes, it truly was the end of the world. The end of the Golden Land. Ground to dust, filled with flames. The golden rose garden was burning spectacularly, with bits of fire and golden splashes flying about. The ground creaked as fissures ran through it. Through to the base of the Golden Land. All the ships started pulling up their anchors at once. Crowds of mighty goats used all of their monstrous strength to lift them. The anchors that dug into the Golden Land's base spread cracks throughout the entire Golden Land. Not just the ground, but the air itself was filled with cracks, and shards of gold fell down everywhere. The Golden Land's end was adorned with the flames of hell, and streaking gold fragments with fiery red and ephemeral gold. Atop the boat's prow, Beetle and Erica looked down on this, their swords crossed and sparks flying between them. Now there's one hell of a sight to see. Don't you think it's fitting? The perfect final chapter for your tale. The Golden Land may meet its end, and may perish as well. However, no one can erase the fact that we were here. Ange reached the answer. The Witch of the Future has a mission and hope, and will soon set off on a new journey. We have already succeeded. Too bad for you, Frodo, Erica. This battle ends with our victory. This was a duel between the Master of the Illusion called the Golden Land and the Witch who controlled truth. The earth split behind them. The Golden Land was torn up. The gap box known as the Golden Land was ripped apart, and the nothingness below peeked out through the cracks. The scrambling crowd of goats fell through the gaps and were swallowed by the sea of nothingness. Beetle's friends were among them. They helped each other, lent a hand to each other, unwilling to sacrifice anyone until the final moment. Still, what a romantic and fragile illusion is the end of the world. The ground shattered and sank. Excuse me. It fell apart into the ocean of nothingness. Nothing could survive. None could be saved. This was destruction. As the comrades in arms fell into the sea of nothingness, they looked up one last time and prayed. They prayed that the Master of the Golden Land would leave proof that the Golden Land had indeed existed. However, Beetle didn't look down at them. They wouldn't have wanted her to. This is our Golden Land. I am the endless and golden witch Beatrice, and I am here. We may fall, but we will not be defeated. You shall become living proof. I'll carve the proof of our existence into your chest. So long, Beatrice. This marks the end of that stupid endless game. Fall to hell, you illusion. Okay, so that's pretty much the end of that fight then. Everything feels like it's wrapping up a bit. Lambda Delta and Burncastle's fight to the death had passed through its phase as a dynamic clash of fireworks, and was now a clash that was quiet and motionless. These two witches, who possessed power on an entirely different level, may have been truly equal in strength. The battle could only be resolved by mutual consent, if one of them lost interest or found some reason for wanting to lose. Since both were putting their all into this fight without yielding a bit, they were absolutely and completely equal. Lambda Delta, I'm glad to have you as a friend. Damn it, just a bit longer. Just fall apart already, stupid magic circle. Battler got irritated and punched the magic circle, but there was nothing he could do except continue to watch over it. After all, the only way to dissolve it was by waiting. However, the pair of them still felt relief, if only a little. Lambda Delta really was strong. Even in a battle this spectacular, she fought on an even footing. No, if you considered how confident each side looked, she seemed to have a slight advantage in Battler's eyes. She would probably manage to buy them enough time. Ange would take the key and return to the Golden Land. They just had to endure a bit longer. However, they had no way of knowing what Lambda Delta's fate would be after this. She had disobeyed the Senate, the highest level witches in existence. Something brutal probably awaited her. However, even knowing this, Ange had to step forward into the future without looking back. That was the single duty given to her, the Witch of the Future. Oni-chan, what's that? Something's coming towards us from a long way away. Crap, are they enemy reinforcements? Lambda Delta and Burncastle were glaring at each other, so they didn't notice. Heading towards them from the distance were several emerald green glints. That light proved that they were enemies. But there's only a few of them. They won't be a match for Lambda Delta. All the cats so far seemed like fish in a school, giving the impression that they'd be terrifying as a group, but not much of a problem by themselves. However, there was something different about the lights approaching them now. They were approaching in a beautiful, ordered formation, like a constellation. Battler quickly realised that this was something new. Umineko, isn't it about time to prepare the key? Let them in. Just by her tone, Battler was able to tell how great a witch this was. The black cats that surrounded her in a graceful and systematic constellation were all wearing large capes with elegant designs. It looked as though great overlords from many worlds had been transformed into cats, leaving only their capes untouched. What Battler imagined was quite true. That was exactly what had happened. These were the overlords from many worlds that formed Featherin's personal guard. Their bodies took the form of cats, merely as a sign of respect to their master, who took the form of a human. These were entirely different from the pack of wild cats that served Burncastle. Aurora? Oh, is that time already? When holding a party, it's important to keep your guests waiting for a fitting amount of time. It is, however, not something I'm particularly fond of. As she said this, her eyes flicked to Lambda Delta. The latter bowed hurriedly. Though Lambda Delta grinned, she was also sweating, her brow furrowed with tension. How long has it been, Lady Lambda Delta? It's a pleasure to see you, great Lady Aurora. This is no place to entertain one of the opposition. Did you get lost on the way to the party? If so, allow me to guide you there myself. That would be an honour, great Lady Aurora. Featherin Augustus Aurora, the legendary Great Witch. It's said that she surpassed the level of witches, becoming a creator, and that upon reaching this forbidden plane, she was cursed with a deadly ailment. However, in life she once turned her pet cat into a witch. They say that this second witch wanders the sea of fragments endlessly, searching for any fragment that can revive her master from the pits of death called boredom, if only for a moment. And so the cat revived her master. Revived the sacred witch who had reached heights none should reach. Just as witches look down at and mock humans from a higher world, calling them pieces on a game board, so she looks down at and mocks the realms of witches from an even higher world, calling them pieces on the game board. If a witch's strength is measured by the height of the world they are capable of reaching, then she was like a witch come back from the realm of the gods, one who had touched the highest forbidden heights and survived. Was there any chance of winning against her? No. Lambda Delta was unable to choose either victory or defeat by her own will. My Miko, would you mind playing with your friend some other time and getting back to work now? Prepare the key. Okay. Uh-oh, they're going for the key. The simple, naive way cats forget their errand part way is their true charm. Don't you think so, Lady Lambda Delta? Lambda Delta didn't say anything, but hung her head low. From this position, it seemed that the key seal would dissolve at any second. However, Burncastle would probably find Battler and Ange before that. Once they got their hands on the key, they could leave this place immediately. Of course, this was assuming that they did so before Burncastle and Featherin found them. Burncastle mustn't be allowed to move from this spot. Looks like game over, Lambda. I am the Miko of the Great Witch Aurora. You haven't forgotten that the Witch of the Theatre Going bestows her protection upon her reader Mikos, have you? Lambda Delta still stood slumped over, without answering. The Witch of Theatre Going gave protection to her reader Mikos. If Lambda Delta attacked Burncastle, who was Aurora's Miko, then the Great Witch Aurora would follow her contract, prevent what she considered an attack against herself, and respond accordingly. Let's make a deal. What kind of deal? Where's Battler hiding? If you come clean, we'll let all of this slide. Is the Witch of Miracles afraid of a tiny little piece like Battler? It's because I'm the Witch of Miracles. I'll never forget that even a little pebble like him is capable of creating a miracle. After all, it's a little pebble who got super promoted into a Witch of Miracles. I'll ask one more time. Where's Battler? Too bad, Lambda. Looks like that's your answer. Burncastle turned her back on Lambda Delta. Then she told her master that she was leaving to prepare the key, and she started swimming towards the key room. If I let her go any further, she'll find Battler and Ange. Battler readied himself. This time, it was his turn to become a sacrifice. Even though he was nothing more than a single pebble, he could still put out an eye. A candy firework exploded right in front of Burncastle. Lambda, you really are a moron. Lambda Delta. Now I've done it. Battler, Ange, the rest is up to you. The cat overlords changed their formation, becoming a ferocious constellation that surrounded Featherin. Then each drew the most terrifying of magic circles from their respective worlds and began to chant. I'm slightly confused. Both by you, my Miko, and Lady Lambda Delta. What sort of sideshow is this? Looks like Lambda wants to stop me from going to get the key. What would the point of that be, I wonder? If you still don't get the point, then you must be getting a bit tipsy, Featherin. Looks like you need a pick-me-up. Lambda Delta bluffed as well as she could. Her fingertips were shaking slightly. An attack against a Miko is considered to be an attack against her master. You should know this as well as anyone, correct? I know it. Going by that rule, it looks like the two of us are going to have to fight. Have I or my Miko caused insult in any way? If so, then please accept my apologies. But could you tell me one thing? I didn't think you had a Miko at the moment. How long have you had one? As for that, I've got a ton of them already. 30 or 40 I think, maybe even more. I, Lambda Delta, will handle any fight picked against one of my Mikos, no matter who the opponent is. All of them are certain that a happy ending will come. As a Witch of Certainty, I can't abandon people who work hard and believe with certainty like that. I can't say I dislike this tale of yours. It would be worthy of my viewing. However, I'm not a spectator at the moment, but a performer. I know that you're my Miko's close friend, so I'll give you one warning. Remove yourself from this stage. I will prepare a special seat for you in my audience seating. I've been thinking about which is more interesting, your tale or the one I've been watching. And your conclusion? Battler's tale's 100 times better. Sorry, but I'll be getting Best Supporting Actress this year. Hey, you guys. You better vote for me in the last character popularity contest, okay? At least get me in the top 5, got it? Who are you talking to? As Lambda Delta pretended to joke around, she calmly focused on the one weak point she could see. If she had a chance for a single attack, then a 1 in a billion shot that victory existed. It was that horseshoe-shaped memory device floating around Featherin's head. Without that, she couldn't preserve her own existence. Destroying it was impossible. But if Lambda Delta could just jar it enough, she might be able to make it bug out. At least once in the past, Featherin's memory device had been damaged, and her personality and appearance had changed. However, she was aware of that herself, and probably wouldn't let that happen again, no matter what. Very well, Lady Lambda Delta. When you've finished your script, feel free to send it in whenever you wish. The script's simple. Just one line. The fantastic, cute Lambda Delta Sama took out the evil mastermind Aurora in a single shot. Foolish Lambda Delta. I never realised how stupid you were. The cats need not interfere. I will personally reward Lady Lambda Delta for the courageous tale she has submitted. You will be granted a fitting tale and a fitting ending for your bravery. Featherin Augustus, Aurora! Lambda Delta summoned magical power from her whole body and raised it in a mass above her head. Forgive me, but... Then the world's time stopped. Your script will not be used, after all. Rather than time stopping, it was more like the flipping pages of a book had stopped. In this motionless world, closely packed letters appeared. The one writing the rest of the script is me. It was a tale that had been written up to this very moment. Featherin Augustus Aurora. Lambda Delta summoned magical power from her whole body and raised it in a mass above her head. That was where the paragraph ended. In this frozen world, Featherin sat with her arms crossed. How troublesome. It's been so long since I've written a fight scene. How annoying to have to suddenly write up a development like this out of the blue. When I get stuck writing, I try to write in reverse. In other words, instead of starting at the beginning, I start at the end and go backwards from there. That way it's easier to set up foreshadowing, and I can write the story with my vision for the end in mind. The only downside is that I have to suddenly start at the climax without setting up the story first. In the meantime, I'll start at the end of the fight and go back from there. Lady Lambda Delta, this is where you lose to me and die. As Featherin said this, words were added to the massive group of letters that filled the frozen world. However, she was starting from the end, so there was a large gap between the new words and the old ones. So how will you lose to me? You should probably have a heroic end to suit your bravery. How about this? Lambda Delta gets blasted away by something, slammed against a bookshelf, and her limbs are snapped off as she dies and disappears into the darkness below. Yes. Quite a flashy way to go. Good. For now, that's how your final moments will be. The blanks in the outline Featherin spoke of were being filled up. At the same time, Lambda Delta's figure was wiped out. After crossing her arms and thinking again, Featherin pointed in a random direction. Lambda Delta appeared, blasted away by something, and slammed spread-eagled against the bookshelf Featherin had pointed at. Well now, I must write up the fierce battle that leads to this end. But you can probably tell, I'm a little tipsy at the moment. I'll fill that part in later, when I have some time to go over it nice and slowly. For now, let me off with this. I promise to add in a heroic fight to your liking later on. Featherin snapped her fingers. Lambda Delta had no idea what was going on. Before she could even blink, she was suddenly here, being slammed against a bookshelf. What is this? She couldn't comprehend the something that Featherin had killed her with. However, that was only natural. After all, Featherin herself hadn't decided what the something was. However, Lambda Delta did understand one thing. She was already dead. Streams of blood dripped from the corners of her mouth. Then lines of blood appeared on her wrists and ankles, her elbows and knees. She looked like a marionette doll of herself. What killed me? Precisely, Lady Lambda Delta. Let me know if you have any good ideas. You monster. Still pinned against the bookshelf, Lady Lambda Delta let her head slump. Her wrists, ankles, legs, arms and neck. Nothing remained. It was all swallowed up by the darkness beneath them. A monster, she says. Quite a compliment for one such as I. Lambda Delta. Ange, don't look. You can't look. Shedding frustrated tears, Ange closed her eyes tight. She must not look. The Witch of the Future must not accept Lambda Delta's defeat. She hasn't kicked it yet. She was brave, and that's all we need to know. I know. I know Lambda Delta would never lose. Pop. At that moment, there was a slight sound. The golden key that hung in the air shook. The seal had finally broken. Yes! Battler grabbed at it immediately. However, at exactly the same moment, a magical tremor spread throughout the vast key room. What? That tremor seemed to have shaken something inside my pocket. I stuck my hand in and found that the fragment Lambda Delta had given us to return to the Golden Land had shattered. Damn it, Lambda's fragment is... You're so close too. Now there's nowhere to run. Castle. If Lambda had been a little cleverer, she probably could have brought you 5 more seconds. Then you would have taken that key and escaped to the Golden Land. Looks like the Miko suffers too when their master's a fool. Oh. Veteran quietly showed her surprise. To truly surprise her was no easy task. The Witch of Miracles, who boasted that no one could even step on her shadow unless she wished it, fell. After taking Battler's right fist to her face, she fell. Berncastle's body immediately split into dust and reconstructed itself in front of Battler, as though nothing had happened. However, she was holding her cheek. She couldn't undo the fact that she had been hit. For the first time in 100 years, she had let someone tread on her shadow without her consent. Her face was gradually filled with shock, and Battler's? It couldn't be seen. His outstretched right arm was blocking it, so his expression couldn't be seen. What? Take it back. Take what back? She didn't let the next strike hit her. Berncastle vanished like mist, then reappeared a short distance away. However, Battler only missed by a hair's breadth. Not because she had intentionally made that happen, but for real. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. Finally, she truly began to feel the pain of being punched in the face. For too many years, she had forgotten the very concept of pain. Very slowly, it was coming back to her. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. Berncastle writhed in anguish, holding her cheek. That feeling, forgotten for centuries, seemed to be hitting home hard. Battler looked at her. Their eyes met. Once again, Berncastle remembered the emotion she had forgotten for hundreds of years. Does it hurt? It sounds like it. The pain you caused by ridiculing my friend is greater than that. And then she shuddered. What Battler saw before his eyes was Berncastle shuddering for the first time in centuries. To Berncastle's eyes, it hadn't even looked like Battler rushing at her and punching. It was as though she had been sucked towards where he stood with his furious fist raised. When her eyes had opened wide in terror, Battler's massive fist had been all that she could see. Of course, he wasn't capable of hitting her. Berncastle was just like a shadow. She dodged by moving instantly and leaving an afterimage, but mere teleportation wasn't enough to escape from Battler's furious pursuit. True, trying to hit Bern was like enviously trying to hit the reflection of the moon on water with a stone. No matter how often you hit it, you can never smash the moon's reflection. However, Battler hit it, and again, over and over, to prevent the moon from showing on the water's surface again. A fiercely thrown pebble sent ripples across the water's surface. It broke through the moon's reflection, broke through the water surface itself, leaving even the bottom of the pond bare, breaking through everything. His certain willpower broke through a miracle. A backwards kick that Battler shot out without even looking behind him, split through empty space. In that space, Berncastle reappeared with a foot in her gut. Yeah. Take back your insults against our brave friend. Ugh. The Witch of Miracles fell. For the second time, she fell. Once it would have been a miracle. Things that happened more than once aren't miracles anymore. Berncastle understood. Battler was capable of hitting her. Then she fell, was slammed against the floor, got up on her hands and knees and vomited. She threw up violently over and over. Her face was covered with pain and vomit and tears and snot. Then she looked up at Battler with a furious expression and howled. And she wasn't howling at Battler. Aurora, Umineko is getting beaten up. What are you standing around watching for? Take him out! Forgive me, but I'm busy writing Lady Lambda-Delta's final moments right now. I can't come to your aid. Why don't you all give her a hand? Featherin's guard, the cat overlords, now formed a different constellation. Then each drew a magic circle and began chanting. You know what? Each one of these cats is the final form of a main character, each from a game like yours. Everyone acted the main part in their heroic tale, and the story of their bravery was given honour, allowing them to become Aurora's guards. Each one fought for the very existence of their country, their planet, the universe. What about you? At best, you've just been playing around with your little sister and some imaginary witch. These main characters are on a totally different level from you. Eat this and die, take it to the gut, scum! What a line. Oni-chan. The many spectacular magical spells depicted the beginning of a universe, the creation of planets, the destruction and the universe's end, all in an instant. After that, not a speck of dust should have remained. However, when the smoke cleared, there was a person standing there. It stood there with its hands in its pockets and its head hanging quietly. Its face was in shadows and couldn't be seen. Oni-chan. What the hell? Battler seemed to be completely uninjured. Not only were his clothes not burnt, but his hair hadn't even been disturbed. What the hell? Stupid cats, that didn't work at all. The cat overlords silently shook their heads, sending a short report to their master. Endless 9. What did you say? It seems that no one can interfere with their tale. Forgive me, my Miko. It would appear that the cats have reached their limit. And you call yourselves overlords of many worlds? Weren't you all once main characters on different game boards? And this is the best you can do? You're pathetic. The cats knew. From the very beginning. They had known that they wouldn't be able to do anything with him as the main character of this game board. My Miko, creating a tale on the game board is a privilege granted only to the game master. That's already been established, so I must respect that rule, being the mere writer that I am. I shall return to my position as a spectator. You useless master. Battler. I apologise for the insults your friends suffered at the hands of my Miko, and I see that the right to weave your game belongs to you, the game master. You shall weave your own game. That is as it should be. However, my Miko is now a game master in your game. It seems that two of you opened the game board at the same time. It's rare to have two masters for a single game, but this miracle pleases me. After all, I can rest assured that this will make for a proper final game for you both. Stand up. Burn Castle. I see. So you're saying that if two game masters are gonna fight, they have to do it by the rules of the game? Why didn't you just say that in the first place? Burncastle slowly got to her feet and made her body melt away like mist. Then she appeared in the air once again, facing Battler. Very well. I'll fight by the rules of your game board. However, I'm not as easygoing as you all are, so I'll start with a short-tempered, overwhelming puzzle and end this in an instant. Who will be my opponent? I don't mind if you both take me on at once. Oni-chan, I'll fight too. Stay back. Why? Watch from there. And this time, understand what I wanted to teach you. Oni-chan. You happy with this, Aurora? I shall be your witness. If you defeat my Miko, I promise to return you all to the Golden Land. Assuming the Golden Land still exists, that is. I believe in them. That's right. Vito and all the others won't lose. In that case, we better start with the bad news. Erica, you can make your report now. Come. When Burncastle snapped her fingers, Erica appeared with a bow. Pardon me for the interruption, my master. Sorry, Erica. How inconsiderate of me to keep you waiting when you came bearing good news. No problem. Rejoice, my master. I have come to inform you of the complete destruction of the Golden Land. Liar. The Golden Land has been totally destroyed. I'm here to report that it's collapsed and fallen into the sea of nothingness. Not just the humans, but the illusions as well have been completely annihilated. Liar. I won't believe it. Then allow me to make you believe it. Take this, my master. Erica humbly presented an object wrapped in cloth. It shone with a golden light. What's this? A golden apple? This is the heart of Beatrice, master of the Golden Land. Pedo. Berncastle pinched it between two fingers, held it aloft and gazed at it. Even like this, it's still beating. You're so cute, Beatrice. The game board that you are might be opened again by someone. You still believe that, don't you? It's okay, Oni-chan. We didn't see Beto get defeated. This is some sort of trick they're using on us. A trick to make us lose our morale. Or maybe it's a trick of Beto's. She changed herself to pretend that she's been defeated. There's no way that Beatrice, that everyone, that the Golden Land could be destroyed. That's true. If the Witch of the Future believes that, you might be able to make it so. So let me show you. Look closely, Witch of the Future from 1998. Berncastle threw the golden heart into the air like an apple. Then with the blood-red blade of the scythe that appeared in her hand, she split it. Beatrice died in October of 1986. Therefore, the Golden Land she created was completely destroyed. Your family that was kept alive in the Golden Land was destroyed along with it. Your father, mother, and of course Battler will never return to you again, and will never speak your name again. The Witch of the Future has the power to interpret things how she pleases, and overwrite what happened. However, there's just one fact that she can't overwrite, no matter how much she struggles. And that is death. You cannot overcome any concept of death, be it physical or mental. It's the single blade of truth with which witches of the past can strike down witches of the future. Hang in there, Angie. But... You decided to accept it, didn't you? You decided to live on, even if no one can come back alive, didn't you? I know, but... Even so, a tiny sliver of hope had remained inside Angie's heart. Despite everything. If she was favoured by some miracle, maybe someone would come home after all. It doesn't matter when. It could be 10 years later or 50 years later. It doesn't even matter if they've forgotten my face. I believed that someone might come back someday, and I decided to live with that tiny hope in my heart. Even though I accepted everyone's death, even though I saw it in the book of the single truth, I still thought that it wouldn't be so bad to believe in a miracle just a little. A miracle you believe in, even though you know it won't happen, is hope. So the witch who knew that miracles don't occur, had ruthlessly torn that hope away. Don't cry. I know. But... Even the big brother you're crying to right now is already dead. Oni-chan isn't dead, he's here. Right here. Don't cry, Angie. But... Don't cry. At Battler's shout, Angie bit back her tears. Why does it matter? What do we of the past mean to you, living in the future? Angie, what sort of witch were you? Huh? Whether we're alive or dead means nothing to you. That's not true. I want you to live. That's not it. You can go beyond life and death, right? Angie didn't understand what he was telling her. So, stunned into silence, she frantically considered what her brother might be trying to say. Battler slowly lifted his face and stared at Berncastle. And you aren't a witch. You're a reaper. That's right. I have the sickle that reaps all hope and miracles, so it must be what you say. You're a reaper who stole away the hope that kept Angie alive, and lured her towards death. You're the one who threw about truths of the past, stealing the future from Angie's eyes and forcing her to look on only at the past. And you're the one who thrust the hope-crushing single truth in front of her, gently pushing her from behind as she, of her own accord, took that step from the skyscraper's roof off into the world of nothingness. But now, I'll free Angie from the spell that you represent. Angie won't be trapped by the curse of the past anymore. She'll step forward into the future, but not into the emptiness of the abyss that you're trying to lure her into. Angie will live strong in the future starting in 1998. Humans are wretched creatures who walk into the future while staring back into the past. That's why they easily plummet into pitfalls and flip over like comical fools. Come, Berncastle. A witch of the past like you can't block the radiance of the future. Yes, let's go. Let's follow the rules of your game. I'll give you some closed room riddles. But since I'm short-tempered, heavy-handed, and easily bored, I'll give you all of them at once. Berncastle spread her hands, and it seemed as though a halo or angel wings were spreading out behind her. Each of the countless rays that spread out from her were the blue streaks of closed room mystery blades. Berncastle, who had travelled the Sea of Fragments for many, many years, had gathered the countless closed room mysteries as souvenirs from all over the place. All those rays twisted at once and aimed towards Battler. It was as though infinite giant snakes had turned their heads to stare at him. If you failed to shoot down even a single puzzle, then this is goodbye. And not as forgiving as Beto, who gave you until October 5th at midnight to give your answer. If you don't answer immediately, you'll die. In other words, this was no mystery. This wasn't an intellectual game, but a merciless assault. Die. All at once, hundreds of guided lasers known as mysteries shot at Battler. The complex geometric figure drawn by those blue lasers was nothing but divinely beautiful. Each one was a mystery. Trying to solve each one in this oppressive hailstorm would be like threading a storm of approaching needles. Battler flew freely through this vast space, dodging the beautiful blue streaks of mystery as he shot them down one after another. The entirety of the mystery knowledge he had built up before this day told him the answer to each puzzle. Each time his eyes glowed with the answer, one of the mysteries shattered. However, each mystery was only 1 out of 100, or hundreds. This hardly rose to the level of opposition or resistance. Oni-chan, it's impossible. Run! There is no unsolvable mystery, just like there is no inescapable fate. Oni-chan. Watch, Ange. Don't miss what I'm trying to show you. By now, the bundle of mysteries looked like one giant snake with blue streaming behind it. Battler skillfully dodged it, precisely splitting its many fangs off one by one. Even though he knew his resistance was useless, like trying to pick up all the grains of sand on a beach one by one. Not bad. Classic mysteries were your speciality, right? Then what about twists on the genre? Let's see if you can handle more and more mysteries from all times and places. Even though Battler was still fighting the giant snake, wings appeared behind Burn once more, and they gave birth to 7 more huge snakes. He now looked like a great dragon with 7 heads. I show my Battler. It's true that you're a very avid reader and an expert on the mystery genre, but you're still young. There's a limit to how many books and mysteries you could have read. Learn that this world is filled with countless riddles and tricks that you've never heard of. Oni-chan, you can't do this anymore. Please just run away. You can't beat Berncastle. Battler's expression remained calm. However, his whole body was covered with sweat and he was breathing hard. It was clear that he couldn't overcome this onslaught, though Battler himself refused to admit it. Battler wiped away his sweat and fixed his gaze on the 8 snakeheads that surrounded him in 3 dimensions. Ange, you believed that someone from your family would come back someday? Lived that way for 12 years and then lost his spirit. For a time, you surrendered to the miracle that refused to happen. In that case, if I want to see you off as you try and step forward into the future, I mustn't surrender to a miracle myself. That's right, but I'll still harvest your miracles and hopes. All of them without mercy. What was now an 8-headed dragon opened its 8 jaws. It looked for weak points from all angles, hoping to swallow Battler in a single gulp. He wouldn't be able to dodge any longer. Ange-san, if you're expecting a miracle, then I have some bad news for you. Beto has now been completely destroyed, and it's even been announced in red. Do you know what that means? Since Beto has been destroyed, the Golden Land has been destroyed as well. That means that everyone has vanished. In other words, you no longer have any friends who can conveniently show up and save you from his pinch. Beto has been destroyed, and that's been confirmed in red. Therefore no one else could come to rescue them. Even Eva was a resident of the Golden Land. After bravely breaking the key seal earlier on, she had probably hidden away somewhere. However, now that Beto had been destroyed, all of the residents of the Golden Land had met the same fate as ice under the sun. Any faint hopes Ange might have had that Eva was hiding in the shadows, ready to save them from this final pinch, had been completely crushed from the moment Berncastle smashed that golden heart. There was no one left to save them from this crisis. She couldn't hope for the appearance of any new factor that might save her brother. What about Ange herself? She could only watch from where she stood. If I help, will I be able to bring about some kind of miracle? But I don't know that much about the mystery genre. I've only watched Bito's game fragments, gathering some basic training on how to fight. At best I can avoid slowing him down, but I can't protect my brother. I can't just watch. Oni-chan, let me fight too. Stay back. Just keep watching. And think. Think about what? Go back to how you felt at the very beginning, back when you were 6 years old, when it all started. How I felt when I was 6? You've lived for 12 years looking for the truth. But that's not your real greatest wish. My greatest wish. We prepared this final game to protect that wish and that hope. Unfortunately, you've wasted that chance. So you'll have to abandon that hope as you step forward into the future. But even so, if there's strength in your heart, you can still have it. Have what? Remember, your very first wish. Even after learning the single truth, remember. The single truth. Even after learning the heartless truth that everyone is dead and no one will come home, remember. Remember your very first wish. Oni-chan. There was a cataclysmic flash as brilliant as the birth of a sun. All the palely glowing snakes ran through Battler. He was stained red, surrounded with a cloud of blood. Then he stumbled, and in the end, he looked at Ange. Ange couldn't say anything in response. The light in Battler's eyes faded, and slowly his body began to fall. It reached the ground and gently landed like something settling on the ocean floor. Ange rushed toward him, and saw the last expression that would ever cross her dead brother's face. His eyes were opened wide, filled with an unwavering determination until the very last second. Was Ange-san ever that good at mysteries? She's nothing compared to Battler. The waving snakes raised their heads and surrounded Ange. Ange had no blades to fight with. She could only cling to her brother's dead face, saying his name over and over. This is a surprisingly boring ending. I guess that's checkmate. The 8 snake heads all attacked at once. Ange held her brother's dead face, thinking about his final words. My very first wish, it could only be one thing. That everyone would come home. That fueled my life for 12 years, until I finally wore out and abandoned my own hope. In exchange for the hope I'd abandoned, I began searching for the truth. Then at the end of the truth, I was forced to see a brutal ruthlessness that I didn't need to know about. And as a result, I was faced with the true despair of knowing that no one would come home. That final hope, which I still felt attached to even after abandoning it, was crushed. The single truth. If only I didn't know that, I might still be able to hold on to that faint hope. But now... you can still have it. If there's strength in your heart, you can still have it. Remember your very first wish. Battler was coughing. Impossible. His whole body had been pierced, and he had been completely dead. For him to cough would be too much of a miracle to be possible. What? Why? Battler died. So why was he revived? Battler rose to his feet slowly. Though blood still dribbled from his mouth, his expression was fearless. However, Ange didn't stand up. She kept sitting, her head lowered. Well, that was a nice warm-up. Should we get started, Burncastle? Time for round 2. What in the... Why, my master? The dead can't revive. Impossible. Battler died. How can you revive? Oni-chan is alive. I've used the red truth. I've announced that Battler died. So why? How did he come back to life? Even if the whole world says he died, I'll be the one person in the world who believes. Oni-chan is alive. And someday, he'll come back to me. That's right. As long as you hold on to that hope, none of your miracles will ever be destroyed. dare you stand before the Witch of Miracles and claim to understand them? Swallow them, grind them up. Erase both siblings now. You can't erase us. Even if the whole world refuses to accept it, miracles will happen if we continue to believe. The 8 wriggling snakeheads transformed into a massive whale jaw and swallowed everything. There'll be no miracle. You can't open your heart to anyone who exists. So die. You're wrong. Everyone will protect me. The cruel whale of mystery that tried to swallow everything was gouged deeply by a massive wedge. This deeply pounded wedge could only be used by those who had talent and a deep love for mysteries. That trick's such a cliché. I read and got bored of that one ages ago. The woman who stood back to back with Battler, launching stakes, was very clearly Beetle? How? I announced your death with the red truth. And what's this red truth of yours? The red truth is absolute. A perfect truth which no one can overturn, no matter how hard they try. Even if this whole world gets together and denies the truth about my family, even if that's forced in front of my eyes at the single truth, I won't acknowledge it. After all. And she slowly rose to her feet. Around her, the shapes of people slowly appeared, and they also rose to their feet. One after another, a whole crowd of them. They were Ange's family, her relatives, everyone from Wakanjima. That wasn't all. Everyone from the Golden Land and all the illusions appeared and followed Ange's lead. They rose to their feet. Then, all of them glared at Burncastle. Even if the whole world denies my hope, I won't abandon it. I won't abandon my certain hope that everyone's alive. And I found something. I found how I'll live as a witch. Weren't you just a witch of the future? Just a powerless witch who could only shed tears of regret for the past? I'm the Golden Witch, Ange Beatrice. I'm the Golden, the Endless, and the Witch of Resurrection. You found it, haven't you, Ange? Yeah. Thanks, Oni-chan. After all those long years, I finally found it. I always knew you'd be able to find it. Thanks, Oni-chan. I've understood what your last game was trying to show me. Disappear, stupid delusions. I can't accept something like this. Everyone will be with me for eternity. No matter how many times people try to kill them with the red truth. I reject it. Everyone will be revived from me. No matter how many times it takes. I am Ange, Witch of Resurrection. Your red truth can't lay a finger on my world. Ooh, gold. Ange, or rather, Ange and her family and her friends, all fired off golden streaks at once. They were the same as the marks left by Burncastle's great snakes. However, the glow inside these was gold. Then they wriggled, combined into one single mass, and transformed into an eagle that now had 2 wings. Ah, like the Ashura symbol. It wasn't one wing down anymore. Thanks to Ange's absolute willpower, the golden eagle had gained the wing it needed to fly into the future. Those spread wings made Burncastle and the whale shrink back. The Ashura eagle never looks back. And it never gives up. The golden eagle easily swallowed the blue whale with its wings, grinding to its bits. And it didn't let the whale's master escape either. It was now Burncastle's turn to run. Burncastle didn't fight the golden eagle. She couldn't. In this world of Ange's, where even the red truth couldn't hurt anyone, what sort of attack could affect her? She frantically ran this way and that, throwing one wedge of red truth after another at the Ashura family. Ashura Kinzo's dead. Kraus is dead. Natsui is dead. She repeated this over and over again, but no one fell down. Ange wouldn't accept it, so they couldn't pierce anyone. Is this sort of endless 9 even possible? Even the red truth doesn't work. So what's this gold truth? What kind of gold truth could defeat red truth? A believing heart. This is our consensus. Your red truth can't pierce any part of the truth that we all acknowledge and share. So long, Burncastle. This time, it's really checkmate. I won't accept something like this. I won't. The massive golden eagle finally swallowed Burncastle whole. It then slammed into the vast ceiling, and there was an incredible explosion accompanied by an earthquake. From the cracked ceiling, along with many falling chips, a single black cat plummeted and slammed against the floor. Erica ran up to it, repeatedly calling out to her master, hugging it. Then she realised that it was still breathing, and simultaneous expressions of relief and shock rose to her face. Don't worry. I won't let you lay a finger on my truth, but in the same way, I won't lay a finger on your truth. She looks like a wet mop. Called a good scolding, free of charge. Beto, don't act too cozy with my big brother. I still haven't accepted your relationship, got it? It was quite bold of you to revive me, fool. But it's too late. My charming subordinates and I shall torment you until the day you die. And I'll make you watch Battler flirt with me every day. What? Oh, that's pretty convenient. Looks like this resurrection magic has an off switch. What? Beto kept appearing and disappearing like a light bulb turning on and off. Ange seemed to be enjoying herself. Battler, Ange's being mean. Go easy on her, Ange. Sure. If you say so, Oni-chan. Ange, you're incredible. You. Ange-sama, congratulations on becoming a Witch of Resurrection. This way, we'll all be with you forever. Yeah, that's right. We're all here. The anti-magic toxin doesn't matter one bit. You'll be with me for all eternity. Nice, Ange. Well said. Everyone surged forward, squishing Ange. They tried tossing her into the air, but dropped her onto her butt, and everyone laughed. Ange looked a bit resentful, but when her brother lent her a hand, she got up and joined the circle of smiles. A quiet applause greeted them. Featherin, their witness, had acknowledged the victory and was clapping for them. So that's the death of Burncastle, is it? Splendidly done, Lady Ange Beatrice. In celebration of this miracle, I bestow upon you the title of Lady. The tale you weaved was quite entertaining. There's no need to be so hostile. I'm congratulating you. Featherin smiled serenely. Then the cat overlords broke their positions in their constellation and lined up behind her. It was clear that this was not only a peaceful action, but part of a solemn ceremony. You have defeated my Miko, and I thank you for sparing her life. Oh. As you can see, she was my cute pet cat, who never ceased to save me from boredom. If she died, boredom would overcome me as well. The true strength of this being, who referred to Burncastle as a pet cat, had already been made clear during her fight with Lambda Delta. Even so, Ange spoke. I won't forgive you for killing Lambda Delta. Aye, that doesn't sound like the words of a Witch of Resurrection. Can you not revive her whenever you wish? Huh? I can revive her? It's okay. I'm sure the Lady Lambda Delta has been revived somewhere, thanks to your power. There's no need to worry. Indeed. She has already been moved to the audience seating I prepared for her. Do not fear. I shall take good care of her. Really? That's wonderful. Ange finally relaxed and let the tension leave her whole body. Well now. Battler, you are now the sole game master of your final game. True. That cat of yours looks like she's out of the running. Perhaps you should carry on with the final ceremony of your game. My Miko is as forgetful as a cat, but she can sometimes be as persistent as one. I suggest getting it over with quickly. Yeah. Okay, I'll follow your advice there. I shall be a witness and record a detailed account of it all. The final ceremony. So even this game is about to end. Battler nodded silently. Then he stepped out from the crowd and motioned for Ange to follow him. As Ange passed by each member of the Ashurmaya family, they cheered her on, giving her words of encouragement. Battler took out the golden key and handed it to Ange. It now had the same glint that it had possessed when he had first given it to her. Then two doors appeared out of thin air on either side of them. They had a stately design, making the importance of this choice clear. Am I supposed to pick one without any hints? Of course not. I'll give you a hint. By now it should be an easy puzzle. A simple puzzle with two answers. And you'll choose your answer by opening one of the doors. I see. Okay. So this is a continuation of that Halloween party. I fell asleep during that party, didn't I? I'm glad to finally wrap that up properly. Beto, come forward. After all, you fell asleep before you got to my puzzle. I'm glad I now have a chance to tell you it. Sorry about that. It sounds like it'll be pretty tough. You'll be fine, Angie. I wonder about that. Prepare yourself, it's a tough one. Calm down, Angie. It's an easy puzzle. Don't you remember the first thing your brother told you about how to choose the best possible option? Battler, you're giving too many hints. This is the triumphant return of Lady Ange, Witch of the Future. All you have to do is watch over her. True. Then I'll hand it over to Beto. I'm counting on you. Indeed. Then let's begin. Okay. Angie gulped, then stared up at the witch's face. The witch held out her left hand, in purple, bringing it close to Angie's face. Then she slowly spread her fingers. Look carefully at my palm. I'm not hiding anything, correct? Yeah. There's nothing there. Watch closely. I'll make a fist, and then stretch out my index finger. She stretched out her index finger and held it right in front of Angie's eyes. Watch the tip of my finger closely. Ready? It'll be fast. The witch rapidly lifted her index finger high into the air, pointing at the heavens. Just as Angie looked up to see the finger raised high, it swung down as though trying to dodge her gaze. In that manner, up, down, left, right, then left again. Angie, feeling as though she'd lose if she couldn't keep up with the fingertip, swung her face this way and that, looking serious. The witch's hand moved faster and faster. Angie didn't lose track of it. Then after the high pointed finger was swung down all of a sudden, the index finger curled up again, and the hand was held in a simple fist. Ready? I'm going to open my hand. The witch slowly opened her right fist, and there was a cutely wrapped candy. Got it? Yeah. Was this a trick or magic? That's my puzzle for you. Go ahead, Angie. Give your answer. Is this a trick or magic? I know. I know what the answer is. Ooh. The witch showed her that her left hand was empty. She made a fist and waved her hand around. When she opened her right fist, there was a candy there. What was this? Well, no, was this magic or a trick? I'd like to save, but... Okay, so we all know it's not really magic. I don't know which one's you're meant to go with. Let's go for magic. I think, I have heard there are multiple endings to this game, so I think it might be this, because the game is getting blatantly close to the end now. We've defeated Burncastle and all that. Let's go with magic. But I'm going to save by you. I get the impression an ending is coming. It feels very ending-y. So, this has been Greeny XI. Hope you've enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in a bit when we check out what that does for us. I'm going to save over this one, so that now, to get the other option, we're going to load up the 12:01 PM one by there, the second one down. So, this has been Greeny XI. Hope you've enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in a bit.